Minister Anthony rescinds 28 termination letters from Linden Hospital staff. Guyana Energy Agency to build 6 EV charging stations. And the subtle way the media in Guyana brainwashes you. I am Enrico Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. Today, Minister Anthony said he's instructed that the contracts of more than 30 workers at the Linden Hospital complex be renewed, and that letters informing them of their termination be rescinded. He said he told the CEO of the hospital, Rude Boy Small, to withdraw the estimated 28 letters. Small disconnected the call when the media tried to contact him on the matter. Asked what was the reason given for the initial decision to discontinue the employment of the workers, the health minister said it was partly due to a number of departmental heads not being satisfied with their performance. But Anthony asked him to hold off on that and allow them to be properly evaluated first. The Office of the Prime Minister has announced the appointment of Attorney-at-Law Lakshmi Rahmat as the new chairman of the Guyana National Broadcasting Authority. The other members of the board are Carlton James, Sadie Amin, Attorney-at-Law Robert Mohammed, Shitan Shai Jason Abdullah, Daryl Akyong, and an opposition nominee to be nominated by the leader of the opposition and the head of the telecommunications agency. The GNBA is a legal body in Guyana with the responsibility to regulate, monitor, protect, improve, and maintain the standards of broadcasting in Guyana. But as you can see, they're doing a terrible job at it. Efforts to fix the mechanical issues at the Iflit Sugar Estate have so far proven futile, and plans are in place to call off the estate's first crop. A broken turbine gear in the factory halted operations since March, resulting in grinding operations being left at a standstill. Production stopped at the estate subsequent to the mechanical failure of the number 1 milled turbine gearbox. According to one source, the estate has ordered a replacement part, but it is yet to arrive in the country. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale, this is 2014 RDQ3. It comes with Bluetooth, mug rims, new tires, TV, CD, fog lamps, electronic parking brake, bar camera, and much, much more. Buy cash for $5.6 million. All pay down as low as $1,120,000 down, with around $108,000 monthly for 5 years, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info. Or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Roche, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street. And tell me you're sent you for this sweet deal. According to Junior Housing Minister Susan Rodriguez, despite complaints of poor water quality, residents of Betsy Ground and Gangaram in Region 6 have opted out of receiving potable water from GWI. Currently, the areas receive free water from a well under the Rose Hall Sugar Estate. While some previously indicated their interest in water from GWI, they have now chosen to keep the current arrangement in place. Nevertheless, GWI visited the community and began the necessary repairs to improve the well water. Meanwhile, residents of New Forest, East Kanji, have been without water and electricity for decades. However, they've opted to receive potable water delivered twice weekly to each household from GWI. With assistance of the Community Policing Group, police in Region 1 captured 30-year-old Nigel Abraham, who is wanted for the murder of his teenage foster son, Daniel Wilson. Less than 24 hours after the police released a wanted bulletin for his arrest, he was caught. The fatal stabbing occurred on April 17th at Blackwater Northwest District in Region 1. Wilson was stabbed to death while his cousin, 19-year-old Ron Moonsamy, was hospitalized in a critical condition after he too was stabbed for intervening. You can multiply your cash by selling digital top-up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. There are about 116 electric vehicles, or EVs, already in Guyana, and the Guyana Energy Agency has now invited bids for the supply and delivery of 6 EV charging stations. There are also plans to work with the government to develop an electric mobility roadmap that will guide the development of the local electric vehicle industry. The government has already reduced the taxes for electric vehicles. If the vehicle is more than 4 years old, there are no duties and taxes for its importation. If the vehicles are less than 4 years old, you only pay 14% VAT, as compared to the 90% on most gasoline vehicles. They have yet to choose exact locations for the charging stations, but fast charge stations will be piloted in Regions 3, 4, and 6. On Thursday, the Organization of American States voted to adopt a resolution suspending Russia as a permanent observer to the institution following Putin's invasion of Ukraine. When the vote was taken, 25 nations voted in favor, 0 against, 8 abstained, and 1 was absent. Guyana was among the nations that voted in favor of the suspension. This led to the Permanent Council approving the resolution to suspend Russia until it ceases its hostilities and fully withdraws from Ukraine. Now for today's oil update. The court case filed by Guyana news publisher Glenn Law against the government over the Exxon contract continued today at the High Court in Georgetown. Law seeks to overturn the expansive tax provisions granted to the oil companies as part of the production sharing agreement for oil drilling exploration in the Starbuck Block. Among the grounds, Law contends that the agreement violates the Petroleum Act by purporting to extend production sharing concessions to persons other than those licensed. Against this background, he argues that any exemptions referred to in Article 15, Petroleum Exploration and Production Act, purporting to extend concessions to persons other than the licensees, are not consistent with the provisions of the Act. Both Exxon and the government deny his claims and intend to continue the battle in court. Do you own a truck? No, not the immunodisease, I mean a real truck, like DAF, International, Freightliner, Bedford TM, or Scammell. Then come. Get high-quality truck parts at the lowest prices at Bauer Automotive. Visit them at Lot 1161 E. Eccles, or call them on telephone number 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Bauer Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Now for today's stupid news. You know what I think is stupid? The media in this country. Honestly, they're so used to licking the bombsy of the party that funds them that they've brainwashed people into believing that it's normal for our leaders to govern as if Guyana is their personal property. Now, this is present on both sides of the political divide. So the media likes to use phrases like, the government donated a new hospital to benefit the people of Guyana to blah blah blah. Well, newsflash, people, there's no such thing as government money. Only taxpayer money. Now, unless if the minister himself dug into his pocket and paid those workers directly, he didn't donate anything. In fact, you did. He merely redirected the tax dollars his ministry was allocated after the government collected it from your paycheck, which they do every month. But the media likes to use weasel words to show their bias, or they include or exclude unnecessary information just to suit their bias and to manipulate your point of view. So, want to know another example of how the media normalizes its oligarchical form of governance in this country? Feel-good stories about poor people getting house locked. I know it sounds crazy, but listen. For example, the media is currently highlighting the fact that the housing minister gave an amputee a house lot on the spot in Essequibo. Heartwarming, yes. But our dullard media never ask the most important question. Why? Is the system so broken that a physically disabled man was denied affordable housing? So he had to seek out the assistance of the minister so said minister could literally overstep their legal authority to give that man preferential treatment. Now, yes, he should have been helped years ago. But I can't be the only one who sees multiple issues here. And by focusing on the allocation only, the media is ignoring the real story. And stories like that make people start to believe that housing is not right. Rather, it's a lottery. And if you're lucky, maybe you too will be fortunate enough to be blessed by the gods on earth we call ministers here. Now, I have many other examples I could cite, but my main point is that the media sucks, and it allows you to be manipulated by political people with personal agendas. If you want the truth from your news, people need to demand more from the owners of news stations in Guyana. Tell them you want balance and fair reporting delivered by actual professionals, or you'll boycott their news. It's just that simple. Remember, the media is a reflection of society. So if you want better from them, demand it. Otherwise, get used to having a cartoon with a terrible British accent being the most accurate daily news about Guyana. Now for our Uncut News Views Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Yesterday, we asked about the gas energy project and how you feel about it. The realest one says he's anti-oil. He's a big tree hugger and respect the laws of nature, so I don't support the egotistical man probing and tampering with Mother Nature. Also, all the third world nations that have discovered oil don't seem to have such a good track record apart from that. This is Guyana, and corruption is born here. You are right about corruption. That is something that we need to always be on guard for, and it'll be even worse as more oil starts to flow. Now, RC View Farm seems to have a bit of a different view. They say the country needs the gas-to-shore pipeline. The electric rate is one of the highest in the region, and if it doesn't come down, many investors will look elsewhere. A project like this will definitely have some corruption attached to it, but we must get it done so the nation can benefit. Again, I just really wish we could do something about the corruption. Oh, And they also shared a thought about in the U.S. state of Tennessee, a law will be passed that will require drunk drivers who kill the parent of a minor to pay child support. And honestly, I support that law 100%. It's an amazing law, and I think we should adopt it here. Now, before we get to tonight's question, take a look at this beauty being constructed in a gated community called Richmondville in Guyana. It features 4 bedrooms, 1 pool with 7,000 square feet of living space, along with modern amenities. Contact Sheriff Construction on 592-618-5702. Now for tonight's question. I've noted some of the biases that I've seen in the media. What are some that you've seen? I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out on Monday for another. Until then, I'm Enrico Bulford saying, have a great weekend. And as always, don't drink and drive, or you'll end up on Monday's episode the hard way. Ha-ha! Good night, folks.